Good morning, everyone. This is BremSter, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle called Lucky Clover by Will Power. This was a recommendation. I always like to get recommendations, and the submissions are better. Like if setters submit their puzzles to me, I know I'm going to get everything I need, and I know they'll be happy with the puzzle. But of course, someone solving a puzzle and saying this was really cool, you should take a look at this one, is also very good. All of my guidelines and everything for how to do that are below. Also linked below is how you can jump to Sven Codes' or Sven's, as we know from Sven SudokuPad's Ko-fi page for the support Sven drive, which is going on at the moment. So consider supporting Sven. I've said this before, but what I'm doing is up until a limit. I work for a living. I will match donations to support Sven. And I'm hoping it gets to the point where I have to make a decision about am I able to find more funds to do that. So please run me out of cash. Not completely out of cash, but get to the point where I have to think, is this getting too much? That would be fun. Let's have a look at Lucky Clover by Will Power. So we have normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Rotational symmetry. The cells 180-degree rotation apart sum to 10. And this is basically, if we were to rotate the grid 180 degrees, two cells that map to each other, so that cell with that cell, they will sum to 10. That cell and that cell will sum to 10. That cell and that cell will sum to 10. Also known as GSP, or girth symmetrical placement, but rotational symmetry is a good way of putting it. Palindromes. Along these lines, cells an equal distance from both ends of a line are the same number. So those are 1 or 0 from the end of the line. Or 1, however you want to call it, they are the same digit. These are equidistant from the end of the line. They will be the same digit. And Kropki pairs, or in this case, it's actually ratio pairs because there's no white dots. Numbers with a black dot between them are in a ratio of 2 to 1. Not all possible dots are shown. They're the rules of the puzzle. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So the place to start is in box 5 with a rotational symmetry puzzle. Now, there's a couple of ways people like to think about this. I have seen some people turn around and say, well, this must add to itself, therefore it's 5. I prefer to do it a different way, which I think is a little bit more sound, which is we know that if we look at any box of the Sudoku and you add those digits together, 1 to 9, you get 45. So this box is going to sum to 45. But we know that that digit is the rotational symmetry of that one. Those will sum to 10. That is the rotational symmetry of that one. Those will sum to 10. Those will sum to 10, and those will sum to 10. So those will sum to 40, and therefore that will sum to 5. I think that's a nicer way of doing it. Now, this is a run of 3 black dots. Now, there's a few things we know about black dots. The first one is that one side of a black dot must be low and the other side must be even, because 1 will double to 2, 2 will double to 4, 3 will double to 6. I don't have a 6-digit hand. 4 will double to 8. Oh, my hand is broken. So it'll always be a digit doubling into an even digit, and 5 would double to 10, which doesn't work. So one side is always going to be low, the other side is always going to be even. Now, that's probably not relevant here, but what is relevant is 3 and 6 only partner with each other, and these 3 dots all see each other. So we cannot put 3 or 6 in here. So it is always going to be from 1, 2, 4, 8. And it's either, and because 1 and 8 only have single partners, in the middle here, it's going to have to be 2 or 4, and these are from 1, 2, 4, 8. But this tells us something about this line, because this is 2 or 4, and this is 1, 2, 4, 8, and this is the part, oh, this is just in the middle of the line. But now GSP comes into play. Sorry, rotational symmetry comes into play, because the rotational partner of that digit is this digit, and this must mean that this is 6 or 8. That's cool. But with this being 1, 2, 4, 8, this is either 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8, and I can't put 2 or 4 on this dot. So what is that dot? It can't be 1, 2, it can't be 2, 4, and it can't be 4, 8, because that would leave no valid total here. So this is 3, 6, which means that is an 8. This is 3, 6, so this is 8, this is 3, 6. This 8 means this is the 2, and these are 1 and 4. That's cool. The 1, 4 here means this is either 6 or 9, and it can't be a 6. So this is the 9, this is the 1, this is the 4, jumping down by rotational symmetry, making that the 6, making that the 3, and what is missing from the column is a 7. 7 and 3 sum to 10, 6 and 4 sum to 10, 8 and 2 sum to 10, 9 and 1 sum to 10. But by palindrome, these 9 and 1 are useless, but the 8 and the 6 means this is a 6, and the 2 and the 4 means this is a 2 and this is a 4. That's fun. Now, we can't put a 2 and a 4 on this black dot. So, again, we can't use 1, 2, we can't use 2, 4, we can't use 4, 8. So this is 3, 6, which means this is 3, 6. Because this is an palindrome. Now, this has to be either 1 or 8, because you can never use 5, 7, or 9 on a black dot, because they're high and odd. They don't meet the criteria. So, this can't be... If it's 1, 2, this is the 1. If it's 2, 4, it's nothing. If it's 3, 6, it's nothing. If it's 4, 8, it's the 8. So this is 1 or 8, which means this is 2 or 4, and it's not 4. So this is 2, this is 1. The rotational, well, we can do rotational symmetry in a moment, but the palindrome makes that a 2. The rotational symmetry of that, if we rotate around the grid, is that one, so that becomes the 8. By palindrome, that becomes the 8. The 8 on the dot makes that the 4, which in turn, by rotational symmetry, makes that the 6. The rotational symmetry of this digit is this one, making that the 9. This has been good fun. Nice, simple flow with a lot of good fun in it. 8 and 8 knock 8 out of all of those. So this becomes the 8, which means this is the 2. 3 and 6 means this has to be 4 or 7, because they add to 10. Where is 6 in this box? I can't put 6 here because of the 3, 6, and I can't put 6 there. This is the 6, so this is the 4. The 6 makes this the 6 and this the 3, making this the 3 by palindrome. These are 3 and 7, which of course work by rotational symmetry. The 3 looks down, making that the 7 and that the 3. These are 1 and 9. Good. Rotational symmetry is holding. But of course, that makes this 1 or 9 by palindrome, and the 9 makes that the 1, making that the 9, which makes this the 1 by rotational symmetry, and that is that by rotational symmetry, making that... No, I'm broken. What did I just do? I got too excited and broke myself. This 9 makes this the 1, which makes this the 1 by palindrome, which makes this 9 by rotational symmetry, which makes... I kept flipping between palindrome and rotational symmetry, and I got the two confused. I'm so confused. Okay, this is a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 2 and 5. So this has to be 2 or 5, and it can't be 2. So this is 5, this is 5, this is 2. Rotational symmetry of 5 is 5. Rotational symmetry of 5 is 5, which also works by the palindrome, which is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is an 8, which is good for that 2. But this is a 3, so this better be a 7. This is a 5. This is the 5. This 6 better make this the 4, which hasn't broken the palindrome, and that better be the 7, which works for the rotational symmetry. It is so easy to put something in and then say, I've got to do the palindrome, and then forget to come back and do the rotational symmetry. At some point, it's going to be like, where am I looking next? Okay, so where am I looking next? Let's have a look at this cell, because it's also this cell. It can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 6, 7, 8, or 9. It can't be 6 because it sees a 6. It can't be an 8. So there's 7 or 9. I wonder how many people are going to complain about redundant clues, because I'm pretty certain that these palindromes being completely symmetrical with these means that they're completely redundant. Because you could use this palindrome in order to resolve these cells because of the rotational symmetry. I wonder how many people are going to complain about that. Anyway, but if this is 7 or 9, this has to be 1 or 3, and this has to be 1 or 3. And of course, the 9 means that there's 7, which means these are 3. I don't know where to look next. This triple, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. There's no 8 there. So this is a 6 or a 9. So this is a 1 or a 4. Of course, there's not going to be anything. If this isn't giving me anything, this isn't going to give me anything. So I'm looking in the wrong place. And these are just in the middle of palindromes. So these digits are completely useless. So the palindromes are now resolved. 1, 2, and 4 are what these are. 1, 2, and 4. There's no 4 here. Wait. Oh, yeah, there's no 6 here. That's the match of this. It's like, hang on, I should have got that before. So 6 is in one of those two. So 6 can't be in those or there or there. This is a 6, which makes this a 4. Is it this being... No, it can't be. I mean, it could be. It probably is. So I'm basically down to Sudoku with GSP at this point. Once I find one digit, I can put the other one in. Let's look at this triple. These are 1, 4, and 5. There's no 4 in any of those. So this is the 4, which by GSP jumps to here, which makes this a 6. These better be 5 and 9. Otherwise, the rotational symmetry is broken. The 5 looks down, making this the 9, making this the 5, which makes this the 1, which makes this the 5. That was the 5 doing the same thing here. Yeah, it's just everywhere you look, there's more and more information. This is just fun. I mean, it's a scanning nightmare, but it's great fun. 3, 8, and 9. So there must be a 3 in one of those two, because that's a 3, 8, 9 triple. So there's no 3 here. So if there's a 3 in one of these two, there must be a 7 in one of those two. So this is 1, 2, 7, right? 1, 2, 7. There's no 1 there, the same way there's no 9 there because of the 1 and the 9. It is literally perfect symmetry when resolving, and pardon me for that. So if these are 1, 2, 7, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9 go into these. And I can't put 5 in those. So that becomes the 5, so this becomes the 5, and this becomes 6 and 9. And I've got a 6 here. So this is 9 and this is 6. So the 9 jumps up here, making this the 1. This becomes a 4. The 9 puts 9 in one of these two, which by symmetry puts 1 in one of those two. Sure. Scanning this feels harder than it is. Like, I'm sure it's easier than it is. The 1 and the 4 look down, making that the 2, which makes that the 1 and that the 4. And now I can jump around by symmetry, making that the 8. The 1 jumps up here, making that the 9, which of course makes that the 6. I'm sure I'm making this hard on myself. The 1 looks up saying that's not the 1, so that's the 1, which jumps down by symmetry, making that the 9, saying that's not the 9, this is a 3, 8. And the 1 jumps down saying that's not the 1, that's a 2, 7, which are the rotationally symmetrical digits. I don't know, this pair, 2, 3, 4, 2 and 7, and I've got the 7 here. So this becomes the 2, this becomes the 7. We jump by symmetry down here, making this the 8 and this the 3. This is a pair, which is 3 and 9. We use the 9 to make that the 3 and that the 9. We may use the 3 to make this the 8 and this the 3. We will jump down by symmetry, making that the 7 and making that the 1. And then we'll use the 7 to make that the 2 and that the 7. And that's the correct solution in 1111. Which is both palindromic and not quite... Like, it'd be cool if it had been 1991. So if I'd taken it, or, I don't know, something else. But I got a palindromic time. I couldn't have planned that if I tried. That was so much fun. Puzzles don't have to be hard to just be full of joy. And that was just full of joy. Thanks, Willpower. I needed that. I've had a couple of really brutal puzzles, some of which are not in the normal queue. I've had some really brutal puzzles to record recently, and that was just a pure joy, relax. Yeah, people will say, well, that was just a gas puzzle. Okay. Well, other people can't submit gas puzzles. So, you know, they've got to put them somewhere. That was great fun. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I do. Let's support Sven, and as always, good luck with your solving.